Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a little while, and since my last video I made on this channel and got an update in the market, a lot has happened. I definitely underestimated what Trump was going to do with the tariffs, and I want to go into that thinking we'd have a reversal wedge here. We got absolutely smoked to the downside, and now we've bounced back. And there are a few things I want to outline in this video that are really going to be the heavy hitters in my explanation of why I think Bitcoin will be going to 150K plus and meeting that target within the next 2 months. And that's where this video comes into play is you need to act with urgency because I don't think there's that much time right now. And at the end of this, I also want to explain why I think XRP is really set out of all these tokens. I know there's a lot going on with meme coins. There's a lot to get distracted with right now, whether people get concerned on whether to put their money into AI, meme coins, RWA tokens, Bitcoin itself, Solana, layer ones. There's so many opportunities, and I really just want to focus also in getting back to the point as to where I have my money stored and what I think is going to outperform Bitcoin in this next leg up. But the first thing that I have pointed out here is the major resistance line that we were stuck at for so long and now have just bursted through, guys. Every time we've made our way up to this resistance, guys, has been an incredible fake out that in the end just destroys investors' confidence in the market. And by the time we made our way down here, I think practically everyone was a bit sick and tired of this market. And you saw a lot of retail investors leave. And, it started up here. We rolled over very heavily right here. We had the crypto reserve tweet by Trump, which pumped us up close to it, but then just got wrecked back down. Eventually that died off. We made our way back up. We didn't quite meet that range, but then when we came back up here once more, that was on tariff day. And what do you know? The worst news possible, practically, since the yen carry trade just shook the entire market up globally and ended up making us crash to the downside. Not Bitcoin alone, it was practically everything. But now you're seeing gold and Bitcoin risk on assets as the M2 money supply continues to rise is now recovering a lot stronger than even stocks themselves. So that's something to keep in mind here. But we finally have broken out of this, which every time in the past, guys, that you during a long consolidation finally break out confidently and sometimes come back and retest it. We actually did retest it maybe a little bit if you're going to count that. But you come back and you break out, and that's that next leg up. It leads to it almost every time after a long consolidation, if you really can break out of it. And if this is no fake breakout, I mean, this is with a lot of strength, guys. And I like bringing this up over here because if you just see the same resistance line, which during a longer consolidation, once you break above it, you can just see, guys, the green part is really where the rallies have happened throughout this bull market. And it's only a matter of weeks after it breaks this significant resistance line throughout a longer consolidation in which we just see all the upside. But my point being is, guys, once a lockout rally occurs, investors feel uncomfortable on entering the market. And by the time we break out to all-time highs, there's no point in here where you can make a good risk to reward entry because it runs so fast. And throughout all this suppression, it makes sense though. Of course, you're going to snap back to the upside after being suppressed for so long. And that's what practically happens every time you see this really big downturn here and you just snap back up. And it's hard to find an entry throughout all of this, which is why I hope you had been patient and held your bags up until this point. But if not, there's still a lot more to come. Now, again, the point of this video, guys, is to create a timeless video over the next couple of weeks that you can come back to and understand long term over weekly and monthly perspectives where we are heading in this crypto market, because these tides, the things I am showing you, do not happen very often, and when they do, they take weeks to play out. And one of the main things I just want to show here is the stable coin dominance in the market. It is a huge indicator of when Bitcoin and the crypto market is going to make a move to the upside. Stable coins are where people's money, when they sell cryptos like XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, goes into stable coins in the meantime. That's the cash in the crypto market. So that means and represents the money on the sidelines. And once that starts to break down, it means people are confident in the market and they're starting to buy cryptos up with those stable coins, and the stablecoin dominance goes down. So they're inversely related to Bitcoin. And you can just see here, okay, if I'm right here, we had a giant breakdown of a trend line that was holding up for some time here. And we started really breaking down. And I'm on the weekly chart here, but I want to show you this 2 week. I'm just showing you for perspective, once we really started breaking down, is right where Bitcoin right here took off to start. Out of its first really big rally, yes, right here we came out of it. But once we started this longer term trend of waves, that's really where it started. And you can see once you break down, then once you consolidate and find a level to consolidate at, you consolidate in cryptos, Bitcoin and others. And then when you begin to break down again, which you can use the weekly stochastic RSI on the stablecoin dominance, you begin to break down even farther. So we broke down once more and we had this leg up. Then we found some support and we consolidated for quite a long time, and we had this trend line right here that was forming. We hit it once, we hit it twice, we hit it three times, and then we broke very aggressively to the downside here. And what do you know? That's right when Trump got inaugurated and people were buying up. Now, we just broke another trend line that we had here for some time with an aggressive move to the downside right here. And what do you know? We're starting to move. And if I go to the 2 week, this is really what I want to show you because this happens only so often. The the stablecoin dominance chart crosses over on the 2 week and you get rallies to come for weeks and weeks. So every time we cross over, you could just trade based on this. If you wanted the simplest basic investing tool to determine when you should get into cryptos, it's practically just wait till this 2 week stochastic RSI on the stablecoin dominance chart just crosses over. And you could get in here, ride this wave out, come wait down here. Once this crosses back over, you get back in here and you start rolling back over and you have the pump. And now we're rolling over one more time. We just got the crossover, guys. And this is going to just keep pumping for weeks and weeks to come as we continue to roll over. And we should bottom out around here. So I would start taking profits right here. This is almost as simple as it gets, guys. Now, again, here too, I've talked about it a lot on this channel, but again, keeping this as the most simple way to understand when you should come into the market and begin buying and when you should be taking profits is just the 2 week stochastic RSI crossovers, guys, and simple technical knowledge on where you're at with support and resistance. However, every time we have a 2 week stochastic RSI crossover, it's very bullish and carries us with momentum for weeks to come. We have one here. We had a long consolidation here as we made our way down, crossed over, came back with a strong rally. And what do you know? We have a crossover right now, guys. And that's why I'm saying this is just the beginning. Now, a lot of people also want to talk about the global M2 money supply, guys. I'm not going to go too far in depth on the offsets. Everyone has their own opinions on exactly what the offsets. I think they hold some weight, but only in a short time frame. There's no back testing showing that those offsets of 110 days, 70 days really do nail the ups and downs of cryptos. Like if you go back past this cycle, anywhere past here, it doesn't correlate. But in terms of money supply, increasing the amount of money that can flow into risk on assets and appreciating assets, that holds a lot of weight. If you just look from right here when we bottomed out and we're rising ever since, look at crypto. It's that consistent. And I think the rates are going to get cut this month in May, which we will see what happens. But I have a suspicion that that is going to be the case, given we have this rally starting. And I think that would be the news to really support the blow off into these 150K numbers up here for cryptos. This isn't even taking into account really the U.S. money supply that has started. The printers had started. So this is just other countries right now. But once America starts contributing to that, this will have a lot more impact on cryptos and risk on assets as in terms of them appreciating. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on is the sentiment, and these two things really do go together, guys. Sentiment has been completely destroyed. You knew it was kind of reaching bottoms, guys, when the sentiment was at, and fear and greed index was at lows comparatively to the FTX crash in the bottom of a bear market. Okay. And we weren't even having signs of true signal tops yet. It's absolutely crazy the fact that, the whole market, and I feel it was absolutely exhausted in these areas. And then to have light at the end of the tunnel here and then just get wrecked with the tariff talk was very painful for a lot of the market. And people were running around like their heads were cut off and having a lot of fear and confusion and uncertainty in the market, which I thought the tariffs would have brought certainty to. But I underestimated Trump's plays and the way that he was willing to operate to get deals done. However, now that these shakeouts have occurred, guys, you're seeing this just quick run up to 94K. And the thing I want to highlight at these levels is nobody even believes that this is a true pump yet. They're just waiting for it to run back down. Within a couple of days, everyone missed their opportunity to buy at 84,000. Now we're sitting at 95,000. And people don't feel comfortable buying here either. Well, what are they going to think when we run up to 110,000? Are they going to feel comfortable buying there? Probably not. And that's just because of all the short term feelings of getting burned and just drowned it out throughout all these shakeouts. It's hard for investors to forget about that, especially retails that are very emotional. So that's why I think this lockout rally may just continue. But either way, I'm not so concerned on a day-to-day basis. Just know 60 days from around the 20th, so June 20th, is where I think we should be heading up to 150K and touching that around that time frame. So it's not too far off, guys. You just got to be patient and look at the longer term charts, which realistically is what every investor should be doing. That every smart investor, you're going to make more money and you're going to enjoy life more if you just get away from the computer and just let these things ride out. Just look at the stochastic RSI crossovers on a 2 week chart and buy when it crosses over and sell once it crosses back and reaches these targets, along with further technical analysis that is up to your discretion on picking price points. But what I would say is wait for around 150K is my target. But additionally, you could just go down to the stablecoin dominance chart, and once you bottom out at a prior support level, which is going to be right here, around 5.23%, start taking some money off the table. This is going to be a hard one to break through. Maybe we do if something crazy happens, but and that's where you're going to reach peak euphoria, unless we have another wave down where we consolidate for a couple months, and then into October or August, September, October, we have another rally up. That's also on the table, but we are going to take it one target at a time. Now, in terms of XRP, guys, um, we can start on some of the technical side of things, but just know there's no other token that's getting more news and gaining more adoption and momentum of real world use cases than XRP. It's partnerships, it's ETF news that has occurred over the couple weeks, Coinbase adding it to their perpetual futures. There's so much going for XRP. And I'm just looking at the technicals and waiting for the big news announcements, whatever that will be, that's going to push this up higher. Either way, once I think it's going to start really running once Bitcoin breaks its all-time highs. So from around 110 to 150K is when you'll probably see XRP really getting explosive and some of that news dropping here, whether it's more ETFs approved or whatnot. It doesn't really matter. We're just the news. We don't have to be so concerned about what is going to support that because it will come. That's generally how the markets work. Is the news comes when the technicals are about to perfectly get set up. And with this weekly stochastic crossover, we finally got the confirmation here, guys. We just want to make it into the blue. And look at what the last one led to for this wave up. This next wave up is going to be even more massive, in my opinion. And another thing here is we finally broke out of this resistance, which we struggled to really gain momentum and close above, which now we have. You could draw it there, you could draw it down this way. Either way, the massive resistance line in this kind of downward ascending triangle, or wedge formation, we have finally started to cross over. Not super strong yet. I want to see a little bit more confirmation, but it is showing strengths of bullishness. And another really important thing to watch here, guys, is we're at a critical point for XRP, which is why I wouldn't be surprised to see some amazing news drop very soon. But when we crossed the stochastic RSI on the weekly chart for XRP back in the day when we had our big rally from around 50 cents all the way up to $3 and 20, 30, 40 cents, around that, this is what really carried us. And we had been trying to cross over for so long, and we haven't really had significant moves down on this chart. We have been struggling to break out of this resistance line right here. We kind of made it out. I mean, we could extend this kind of like this, and that'd be a little more accurate. But once we break out of it, guys, and we could break down and then jump back in. It's all up to play. But once we cross over on this weekly chart, along with Bitcoin making a rally farther and farther up, we're going to be set to just run into this blue ocean. And this is going to take up a lot of dominance in the market share of all cryptos for XRP alone, along with HBAR, XLM, XDC. And again, that's really all I got for you guys today. I just wanted to make sure you're aware that this market doesn't have to be as complex as looking at it every day and getting frustrated and looking at the news coming out, tariffs this, tariff that, tariff this, tariff that, people going back and forth, making absolutely no sense just to shake up the market in the meantime. Just think longer term perspectives. And I really do think probably the easiest way to trade this market and even the stock market is just longer term stochastic RSI crossovers on a 2 week chart. It's very, very, very consistent. And I think we're only starting to see the beginning of another big rally up for Bitcoin up to 150K. So look at the longer term charts and the stablecoin dominance, and you should be all right over the next couple weeks. That's all I got for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. And until then, I'll see you next time. Cheers.